Welcome back to Mouse and Keyboard Podcast. I am Cooper, he is Gabe, and today is our first special guest episode. Welcome, Savannah and Murph.
Woo!
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Okay,
Give us a
so
little introduction.
today we are going to talk about how acting is a key part of these two Gen Z lifestyles. Savannah,
Hmm?
how has acting become an essential to your Gen Z lifestyle?
Well, really, from the beginning, it's just something I've kind of been really passionate about, and I've always loved performing and putting on little songs. I've always loved kind of singing, and it's just something I've kind of picked up as a hobby and maybe potentially a profession. And I think it's just, I don't know, I feel like in particular with theater, there are a lot of certain qualities that you'll pick up with just acting in general, like how to handle being denied a role, how to, get over nerves like that you may face with public speaking, which I mean is definitely something that you'll have to do when you're
Yeah.
an adult, and it's something that you're definitely gonna have to, or a fear that you're definitely gonna have to get over. And well, really, I think it's just really helped me find some of my, I don't know, some of the
Confidence?
qualities of my personality that I've been able to kind of hone in on and kind of use as my strengths. Is that, if that makes sense? Can you
Yeah.
relate to any of this, Liv? And how there are
Yeah,
certain things that acting can kind of bring out in you and certain qualities that it can strengthen. Like here, what are some qualities that you've kind of noticed
yeah, like
have kind of helped you?
I totally agree. I mean, going back to what you said about like being denied a role, that goes a lot with like acceptance because um like you're not always gonna get everything you want you might do really well or really poorly on something, but like you always have that chance of not getting it. So acting is a really good way to be able to like practice that because I feel like, I mean, Savannah, tell me if I'm wrong, but most of the time you're going to be turned down, then you're going to be accepted. So you need to learn to like how to shift your mindset and use it, and usually like you usually get like tips for what you can do better next time. So like if you incorporate that into your next audition, like that's really helpful.
So when
So-
when when do you guys start professionally in quotes acting?
You can go.
Well,
Why doesn't
well,
Savannah go first, and then you know?
well, I've always participated in shows by this company called Art and Soul Performing Arts specifically, and I've always loved performing in their shows. And then I decided that I wanted to take acting a little bit more seriously because I really discovered that this is something that I want to, do when I grow up. I want to be a Broadway actress. So then I started auditioning for a lot more playhouses, and I've just really gotten to grow by, auditioning around. And I think it's just really been a fun experience, bouncing from place to place, constantly auditioning, rehearsing. And I don't know, I guess it's just, I don't know, I think it's been about maybe 2 years I've taken it
So at
very
what age did
seriously,
you
but I've always
start?
kind of performed in a show there just for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
And
so
then
what age
and
did
then the
you
lit. Oh yeah, Cooper.
start acting? Savannah, Art and Soul, like you said.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Oh,
At
what
what age did you start Art and Soul?
I started at Art and Soul when I was 7, specifically at Art and Soul, and up until I was 12, which is how old I am. Right now, I've been performing. So
And then
yeah, it's always
how has it changed you from the point that you started to now, positively and negatively, if there are negatives or positives?
Well, off of the top of my head, I can't think of any negatives, but
Okay.
this may not be your scenario, Liv, but when I was little, I was a very shy kid. And one day I told my mom I wanted to be in a movie, and my mom told me that if I'm going to be in a movie, I'm going to have to talk, I'm going to have to speak up, and I'm going to have to fight for my roles. So I started auditioning for, well, Art and Soul, and I really like learn to come out of my shell, because I mean, heck, if you're going to be dancing on a stage and singing and talking on a stage, I mean, you're going to be in front of people. And I definitely came out of my shell and, kind of found my comfort zone with people, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. So, Liv, when did you start again acting professionally in quotes? And when did you? How has it changed you for the better and for the worse?
So I would say that, well, like acting, technically, I've been doing that ever since I was like really little. Like, I know I was in like shows when I was like toddler just for fun, but that, like, I don't remember that very well. I just know I did that because of pictures and things like that. But I would say I've taken acting more seriously the last 2 years. Also did Art and Soul with Savannah. When I was
You
in
got it.
So when I was in fourth grade, I think that's when I did my first Art and Soul show, and I was like very shy. I remember my audition was terrible because like I was just scared to get in front of people. I mean, I wasn't really a shy kid, but like in front of people, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I would say like acting has changed me, and I think it's really important because you get to go on stage and be someone else. You get to be a new character entirely. And so you can get rid of all of your problems, your issues, because you're not yourself anymore. You step into a role of someone else. And I think that's cool because, like, whether I'm having a bad day or like something happened earlier in the week, I can just let that all go, step on stage, and like start being a whole new person. And I also think that you make really great friends. I think Savannah can back me up on this, but
Oh, yes, I can.
like these are people who are going through the same thing you're going through, and it's just like a community, and you feel safe around these people. So it's just like a good environment to be around.
So it's kind of like therapy. I'm hearing. Is that the same for you, Savannah?
Yes, the Playhouse is my happy place. This is my place where I can decompress, hang out with friends, and I can, like Liv said, practically turn into another person with whole other problems and, go into the world of musicals and just sing a song and, just sing my heart out and,
And
just
then
really let go.
yeah, and then Liv, do you have anything that like change you for the positive or for the worse?
I wouldn't say there's anything for the worse, but like I would say there's a difference between being in like a play and a musical, because in a play you get to be someone else, but I feel like when you're in a musical you feel someone else's emotions, like because
I feel a lot more empathy. Yeah.
And like I think it's like it's entertainment, so it's also fun to be able to like see your audience in front of you and like see how they react.
Would you say it's harder to be in one or the other, a musical or play? Or
Well, I'd say, the difference between a play and a musical is that a musical has songs and singing and all that jazz, and a play is just talking and monologues and a script. So you definitely do have to worry about the singing and musical component a lot more. But I mean, not necessarily. Some people really do learn songs a lot better than they learn lines off of the script, because just some people are musical like that. But for me, I'd say musicals are a lot harder to kind of get into the swing to, because like I said earlier, it's a whole nother component that's been added to, a play.
I was meaning it in the sense as, because Liv said it's like playing a whole other person because you have to show emotion and stuff like that. Would you say it's harder in that sense?
Yes, a little bit. Well, I'd say both would need a lot of attention and a lot of character studying, but I'd say to really be able to focus on one skill that maybe you might not be so comfortable in, like singing, and then to be able to feel that empathy, to be in the character's shoes, sometimes literally. I mean, it does really take a whole another level of patience and hard work and effort, which is something that you need in the real world. There's another thing that I've really learned from performing in musicals.
And then so other than public speaking, is has it
Okay.
helped you? Has it helped you academically in any way?
Yes, absolutely. I've read studies about how learning instruments and learning, just constantly learning can expand your brain and make you more smart and all. And I honestly, I just feel like always having something to do, always being busy has really kept my mind on high alert because theater practice can be intense. Not to be like that, but I have been at the theater more. Sometimes I'm at the theater more than it feels like I'm in my own home. I
And
mean,
yeah,
and when I feel like busy people really do get a lot done, and just learning time, how to cope with school and then theater, and just really learning how to manage time and
you,
without rushing yourself, I think has really been one of the key lessons of that I've learned through performing in shows.
Liv.
Well, I would agree with Savannah where, I wouldn't say it, I don't know if it helps academically. I think it helps definitely like emotionally and mentally, which can also
Yeah,
help.
that's what I was trying to go.
But like if you go back to the question, plays versus musicals, I would say musicals are easier for me because it's more expression. So when you get to express yourself more, like it helps it helps your mindset. You and like when you're dancing, you're exercising, and that's also good for you. So, but if you're talking about like your academics and specifics, I wouldn't say they help. There's not a direct correlation, but I do agree with Savannah. Play,
Yeah,
you're at the theater for a really long time, like especially on the week like before the show, you're at the theater for maybe like 3 or 4 hours or even longer, depending on your part in the play. So on those nights, I would say schoolwork gets a little stressful, but it's not like I don't get it done. There's always an opportunity, so nothing bad could come out of it.
I bet it'll help you in the future when you're trying to, I don't know, maybe balance a job in high school or something like that.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
know my mom did that, and she said it was really difficult for her. So I'm probably gonna do the same thing, and I know it's gonna
oh,
be
I
difficult.
bet. Yeah.
It's gonna be difficult for me, but I feel like that would help you in a lot of aspects because you've number one got to balance time, and you've number two have to I don't have a number two actually. So
And building off,
um but yeah.
and then so I guess I we're in the final 2 minutes of the podcast here. So do you just want to wrap up how acting has contributed to your lifestyle and how it has changed everything, like things in your day-to-day life out of school?
oh, also building off of your, I know this was a question you asked a while ago, but I've also learned just because I have to empathize with characters because I have to literally be those characters. I've also really learned how to empathize with people a lot more when people come to me with problems and and I feel like I have to help them, but I don't know what to do. I can always think back to what would I what would I do because I had that experience because I had to, and of course, Ariel's problems of turning into a human and then, you know, risking her life to fall in love with this man isn't exactly my problem, but I can, just thinking back into my character's problems and thinking about what would I do if that was that character, I can really then kind of apply that information that I've kind of thought through and help whoever, has come to me with their problems. So I think just being with, I don't know, you know what I mean, Liv? How just kind of
Yeah.
empathizing with characters have
Uh,
really just helped me with real people,
um,
and
I'm
also
sorry, but
helps
we're gonna
me
have to cut you short here. That was a great podcast, but I have to end the recording.